Whoa, wait a minute. This race is actually happening? I thought we were going to have to cancel it again. Hello and welcome to Connor F1, and today I will be giving you my predictions for the 2025 Chinese Grand Prix. Now, it's been 105 races since the last race at the Shanghai circuit, and though that race wasn't the most exciting race that F1's ever seen, especially for its 1000th race, I think we may be about to see one of the craziest races in history. That is, if the weatherman's correct for once. And just before we get into it, please make sure to subscribe, as we're on our way to 100 subscribers, so let's see if we can get there by the end of the month. So, let's get into the video. Shanghai is a circuit with a good range of corner types to make car setup interesting around the circuit. They have a good range of long, high-speed corners and short, low-speed corners, and plus with long straights to match. And with the track having a very bumpy nature, we will 100% get to see some sparks flying, but hopefully not as much as we saw in Austin last year, which brings me to my first prediction. Prediction number 1. Someone will get disqualified after the race for their plank being too small. Now, as I said, Shanghai is known for being incredibly bumpy, so the cars have to run higher setups to make sure that their planks aren't worn down as much, otherwise they're going to get disqualified after the race. Now, usually the teams have enough time to fix this, as they have 3 practice sessions. But wait, guess what? It's a sprint race this weekend, so they only have 1 practice session to fix their setup before they head straight into sprint qualifying. This means we might get to see what happened in Austin last year, where Leclerc and Hamilton were disqualified after the race because the sprint format made it harder for them to make sure their cars are at a good high setup because their planks became too small by the end of the race. But this format will also help some teams whose cars' natural setups make it so that they already don't have to change much in their setup to get some good speed. Which leads me to my next prediction. Williams will score points this weekend. The Williams is known for its straight line speed, so if they can hold their own through the corners with the other cars around them, and they can either get past on the straights, or stay ahead going into the final corner. So we wouldn't be surprised if Albon was ahead of a DRS train this weekend, and with maybe a couple dive bombs with cars trying to get past, like what happened with Magnussen in Saudi Arabia. One team I don't expect to be challenging for points this weekend is Sauber, who, with how bad their car has been lately, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one of their cars in the wall again, which will be my next prediction. One of the Saubers will crash this weekend. Practice, qualifying, sprint, or the race, I believe we will see at least one of the Saubers in the wall this weekend, be it Bottas or Zhou. Though I kinda hope it's Zhou, not because I want to see him crash, but more like because I want to see all the you lost your credit social score memes that will come out of Twitter. This also leads me on to my next prediction, which is there will be at least 15 spins this weekend. And yes, that is quite a high number. And this doesn't have to be an in-the-wall type of crash, it just has to be like a full 180. And it's because of one thing that every YouTuber and every news source has made sure you know. The track is incredibly green right now, as cars haven't raced there for years, meaning there's been no rubber laid down for the cars. Plus, with the track being resurfaced before the Grand Prix, plus with a 40% chance of rain, oh god, we could see a remake of the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix, where again, we had a green track, wet weather, and cars were spinning every which way. And you know that weekend was crazy, because Stroll was on pole, which kind of proves how much of a circus this race was. I think the main places we will see these spins will be at turn 1, as it's a high-speed nature, and with no traction, the cars will probably find themselves into the gravel, or at least the runoff, every now and again. Turn 14 will probably also see some spins because of the low traction of the corner, so I think we might find a car or two with their asses to the grandstand. Now on to my next prediction, which will be, there will be more than 5 track time deletions in qualifying, thanks to the final corner. With how fast the corner is, and with how bad the angle at which it's at, kinda like how Austin's second to last corner is, if the cars take the corner wrong, it will either end with them not having a lap time, or, as Albon found out, spinning off into the barriers. So, with that in mind, I believe we will 100% see drivers losing lap times there, and maybe at the exit of turn 10 as well, but it's not as bad as turn 16. So I expect to see at least 5 track time deletions during qualifying thanks to this corner. So let's move past qualifying. My next prediction is that there'll be at least 2 safety cars this weekend. And again, because of the rain and with the green track, but also because this is a new track for Oscar, Logan, and Joe. And with every other driver not racing here for a long time, I think it would make sense for some of the cars to have a coming together and crash out of the Grand Prix. Or maybe someone gets an engine failure and parks it on the side of the track. And who knows who it could be. I mean, Stroll took someone's tyre off again, or maybe Danny Rick forgets that the car he's driving right now isn't as good as the car he was driving the last time he was here, and just T-bones someone. What about the finishing positions? Well, I believe that, of course, it will be a Max Verstappen victory, no question. Unless one of the Red Bull engineers messes with his brake again, I don't know. Then would come Perez, not too far behind Max, but probably at least 10 seconds, maybe 5 depending if a safety car happens. But I think Perez could also maybe mess up qualifying, but make up for it later with that Red Bull DRS to just storm past the slower cars. Then in third will probably come the Ferraris. With my opinion, I think Sainz will get the podium again with Leclerc in fourth. And the only reason I say this is because I believe that Sainz will be able to look after his tyres in the car just that bit better than Leclerc. And I think we'll probably finish just ahead of him, but it will definitely be a close fight. Unlike the gap to Perez ahead, and Verstappen of course, and I probably would expect it to be like 30 plus seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if it is that big. And then lastly in fifth, to finish off the top 5, I think we could either see the Mercedes or Fernando Alonso. But I think I'm going to give it to Alonso here, as he'll probably have the upper hand over Russell because of his experience at the circuit compared to Russell, and I think he might be able to get Hamilton in qualifying, so potentially in a race, although it will be close, I think he will be able to beat Hamilton in race pace, and at least in race trim. So Alonso is the one that comes out on top for me to finish off the top 5. So, that was my prediction for the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's see if any of them come true. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss my race review for the Chinese Grand Prix. And if you would like to watch last race's review to remember yourself of the Chinese Grand Prix, watch this video here. I've been Connor, signing off.